I stand at the podium holding the National Inspirational Mother Award, cameras flashing as hundreds applaud. The gold plaque feels heavy in my hands, not from its weight, but from the journey it represents. 12 years ago, I was nobody, a failure, a shame to my family. Amanda Brooks has revolutionized special education support for single mothers nationwide, the presenter announces. In the front row, my 17-year-old son Ethan beams with pride, his Yale acceptance letter tucked in his jacket pocket. But behind the cameras, I spot her. My mother, Evelyn Brooks, sitting rigid in her Sunday best, her mouth a thin line of disapproval. Even now, even after everything, she can't bear to see me succeed. 12 years ago, you're a disgrace. Mother's words cut through the Christmas morning chaos. Extended family froze mid-conversation. Children stopped unwrapping gifts. An unwed mother at 23. Do you know what the church ladies say about our family? I was 7 months pregnant, alone, broke. The baby's father had vanished the moment I told him. I dropped out of Columbia University. My scholarship gone, my dreams shattered. I'd come home hoping for support, for love. Instead, I got ultimatum. Give the baby up for adoption or leave this house and never come back. I chose my unborn child. With 2 suitcases and $47, I moved to a tiny apartment in Millfield, 3 hours away. For the next decade, I scraped by teaching part-time at the community college, taking night shifts at a diner, raising Ethan alone. We survived, but we didn't thrive. Until 18 months ago, when everything changed. When I finally decided that surviving wasn't enough. The moment that broke me wasn't grand. It was small, ordinary, devastating. The invitation arrived on a Tuesday. Cream-colored cardstock, elegant script. You are cordially invited to celebrate Evelyn and Robert Brooks' 40th wedding anniversary. I almost threw it away. Mom, please. Ethan found me staring at it, his 14-year-old face earnest. I want to meet Grandma and Grandpa. I want to know where I come from. How could I explain that where he came from was shame? That his grandparents saw him as their dirty secret? Against my better judgment, I said yes. The party was everything I expected. Elegant, proper, perfectly orchestrated. Relatives I hadn't seen in over a decade awkwardly hugged me, asking vague questions about my situation. I smiled politely, watched Ethan charm everyone with his intelligence and manners. Then came the speeches. Evelyn has been the pillar of our family, my father said, raising his champagne flute. She's raised 3 successful children, been a leader in our community, and maintained our family's reputation through every challenge. 3 successful children, not 4. 3. I felt Ethan stiffen beside me. Mother took the microphone, her silver hair perfectly coiffed, her smile practiced. Thank you all for celebrating with us. Family is everything, but family also means standards, values. Some people, her eyes found mine across the room. Some people make choices that bring shame rather than honor to the family name. I'm grateful that most of our children understand what it means to live respectably. The room went silent. Ethan's hand found mine under the table, squeezing tight. A single mother, she continued, her voice carrying clearly. Raising a fatherless child, living on welfare, that's not the legacy we want to leave. I felt something break inside me. Not my heart, that had been broken years ago. Something deeper. My last shred of hope for acceptance. But more importantly, I felt something ignite. The drive home was silent for the first hour. Then Ethan spoke, his voice small. "Mom, are we really a shame to the family?" I pulled over, my hands shaking. "No, sweetheart, we're not." But as I said it, I realized something terrible. I'd been living like we were, hiding in this small town, accepting scraps, teaching basic math to disinterested community college students when I had a Columbia education. Letting mother's words from 12 years ago dictate my entire life. That night, I made a list of everything I'd given up. My graduate degree in special education, my dream of helping disabled children, my voice, my confidence, my worth. The next morning, I called Columbia's admissions office. "I'd like to complete my master's degree in special education." "Ms. Brooks, you left 12 years ago. Your transcripts show incomplete." "I'm aware. I'm ready to finish what I started." The first year was brutal. I studied while Ethan did homework, wrote papers during my diner shifts, attended classes via video conference. I applied for every scholarship, every grant, every opportunity. Slowly, things began to change. I completed my master's with a 4.0 GPA, focusing on inclusive education for children with developmental delays. My thesis, Single-Parent Households, Hidden Strengths in Special Needs Education, was selected for publication. But grades weren't enough. I needed real impact. I started small, volunteering with the county's special needs program, offering free tutoring to struggling students. Word spread. Parents began calling, desperate for help their children couldn't get elsewhere. That's when I founded Bridges, a nonprofit providing educational support for special needs children from single-parent homes. What started in my living room with 3 families grew to 50, then 100. Local news picked up the story, then regional papers. My speaking engagements went from PTA meetings to state conferences. But the real transformation wasn't external. It was Ethan. Watching his mother fight for herself and others, he began fighting for himself. His grades soared. He started a peer tutoring program at school. He researched colleges not just good enough to accept him, but good enough for his ambitions. 2 years in, I received another invitation. Mother's 70th birthday party. This time, I didn't hesitate to accept. This time, I was ready. The country club ballroom buzzed with conversation as I entered. Ethan tall and confident beside me in his best suit. Heads turned, whispers started. "Amanda? Amanda Brooks? Is that really her? She looks different." I was different, confident, successful. No longer the broken girl who'd fled 12 years ago. Mother approached, her smile tight. "Amanda, how nice of you to come." "Happy birthday, Mother." I kissed her cheek, ignoring her flinch. "You remember Ethan, don't you?" Ethan extended his hand with perfect manners. "Happy birthday, Grandmother." She took his hand reluctantly. "Yes, well, you've certainly grown." The party proceeded as expected. Polite conversation, careful avoidance of my situation. I was seated at the children's table despite being 35. The message was clear. You don't belong with the adults. But I wasn't the same woman who'd accepted that treatment 12 years ago. When the speeches began, I listened to cousin after cousin praise Mother's community leadership, her charitable works, her dedication to family values. The irony wasn't lost on me. She'd built her reputation on helping others while systematically destroying her own daughter. Then my youngest sister, Sarah, took the microphone. "Mom has always taught us that family comes first, that we should lift each other up, support each other through every challenge." I stood. The room went quiet. "May I say something?" Sarah looked uncertain, but handed me the microphone. I looked out at the sea of faces, relatives who'd abandoned me, family friends who'd whispered about my situation, church ladies who'd judged my choices. Family does come first, I began, my voice steady. Which is why I'm here to share some news with all of you. Ethan has been accepted to Yale University with a full academic scholarship. Gasps rippled through the room. Ethan straightened, his face glowing with pride. He's also been invited to present his research on inclusive education at the National Student Research Conference, research he conducted through my nonprofit, Bridges, which has helped over 300 special needs children this year alone. Mother's face had gone pale. So, yes, family comes first, and I'm proud of the family we've built. The confrontation at Mother's birthday party changed everything. Word spread through their social circle like wildfire. Amanda Brooks wasn't the failure they'd written off. She was successful, educated, making a difference. But Mother wasn't finished with me. 2 weeks later, I received a call from the State Education Board. Ms. Brooks, we've received some concerning reports about your organization's practices. We need to conduct a full audit. My heart sank. I knew exactly who had made those reports. What kind of concerns? Questions about your qualifications, your oversight of volunteers, your financial management? We take these allegations very seriously. I hung up and immediately called my board of directors. We had 2 weeks to prepare for the most comprehensive audit of our young organization's life. But I'd learned something over the past 2 years. I wasn't alone anymore. The families we'd helped rallied around us. Dr. Martinez, the developmental pediatrician who'd become our medical advisor, vouched for our practices. The university professors who'd collaborated on our research programs provided testimonials. Most importantly, the children we'd served spoke for themselves. 15 kids who'd struggled in traditional programs were now thriving in inclusive classrooms. Their parents wrote letters, made calls, showed up to board meetings. The audit took 3 grueling weeks. Every file scrutinized, every volunteer questioned, every dollar accounted for. We passed, not just passed. We received commendation for our innovative approaches and community impact. The state board was so impressed they recommended us for federal funding. But Mother wasn't done. She tried to get me removed from the church board where I'd started volunteering. She spread rumors about my checkered past at community meetings. She even went so far as to suggest I was an unfit mother. Each attack made me stronger. Each lie revealed her true character to people who'd once respected her. Then came the invitation that changed everything. Yale's early admission program. Ethan's application was submitted. We waited. On the same day Mother's 71st birthday invitation arrived, Ethan received his acceptance letter. Full scholarship, pre-med program, special recognition for his community service work. I stared at both pieces of mail, understanding the cosmic joke. Mother's party would be the perfect stage for the final act of this long drama. But this time, I wasn't just fighting for myself. I was fighting for every single mother who'd been told she wasn't enough. Every child who'd been labeled as less than perfect. Every family that didn't fit the traditional mold. 3 days before Mother's birthday party, I received an unexpected visitor. My father stood on my doorstep, looking older than his 71 years, his face haggard. Dad? I hadn't seen him since the anniversary party 2 years ago. May I come in? We need to talk. I led him to the living room, my mind racing. In all the years since I'd left home, he'd never contacted me directly. Mother had always been the voice of both parents. Amanda, he began, his voice shaking. There's something you need to know, something I should have told you years ago. My stomach clenched. When you were at Columbia, when you first told us about the pregnancy. He paused, struggling with the words. Your mother didn't just disown you. She called the university. The world tilted. What do you mean? She told them you were having a mental breakdown, that you were unstable, using drugs, that your pregnancy was the result of prostitution. His voice broke. She convinced them to flag your file, to recommend counseling, to question your fitness for the program. The room spun. That's why they were so quick to accept my withdrawal. Why they wouldn't let me defer. Why I lost my scholarship. He nodded, tears streaming down his face. I didn't know until last week. She told me everything during one of her episodes. Episodes? She's been seeing a therapist. The guilt has been eating her alive, especially since your success became public knowledge. She can't sleep, can't eat. She's been having panic attacks. I sat in stunned silence, processing this revelation. My entire life's trajectory had been altered by my mother's lie. Not just her rejection, her active sabotage. Why are you telling me this now? Because she's planning something for the party, something to try to discredit you again. She can't bear that you've succeeded despite everything she did to stop you. He stood to leave, then turned back. I'm sorry, Amanda. I should have protected you. I should have been stronger. After he left, I sat in my quiet house, everything I thought I knew about my past crumbling around me. The night of Mother's 71st birthday party, I arrived fashionably late. The same ballroom, the same people. But this time, I walked in with unshakable confidence. Ethan looked magnificent in his navy suit, Yale's acceptance letter in his inner pocket. We'd agreed. This was his moment, too. Amanda, Cousin Beth rushed over. Congratulations on the federal funding. We saw the article in the Times. Thank you. The program will help thousands of families now. I watched Mother across the room, noting the tremor in her hands, the tight set of her shoulders. She looked older, more fragile than I remembered. When she approached, her smile was brittle. Amanda, I wasn't sure you'd come. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Yes, well, I hope you'll be appropriate in your remarks tonight. Don't worry, Mother. I'll be exactly who I am. The dinner proceeded with the usual speeches and toasts. I waited, watching Mother grow more agitated as the evening wore on. Finally, she stood to address her guests. Thank you all for celebrating with me, she began, her voice slightly slurred from wine. Family is complicated, isn't it? Sometimes we must make difficult choices to protect what matters most. Her eyes found mine. Sometimes people make mistakes that cast shadows over entire families. But tonight, I want to set the record straight about certain fabrications that have been circulating about my family. I felt the room's energy shift. Here it comes. My daughter Amanda has been telling people that she's some kind of success story, that she overcame adversity to build a meaningful life. But the truth is, I stood, my movement silencing her mid-sentence. The truth, I said clearly, my voice carrying across the silent room, is that I did overcome adversity, including the adversity of having a mother who lied to my university to sabotage my education, who spread rumors about my character, who spent 12 years trying to destroy any chance I had at happiness. Gasps echoed through the ballroom. Mother's face went white. But I'm not here to shame anyone, I continued. I'm here to celebrate. Ethan, would you like to share your news? My son stood, tall and proud. I've been accepted to Yale University's pre-med program with a full scholarship. I want to become a pediatric neurologist specializing in helping children with developmental delays. The applause was thunderous. 6 months later, I stood in my new office, national headquarters for Bridges Educational Foundation. Through the window, I could see Ethan across the Yale campus, heading to his molecular biology class. My phone buzzed, a text from Mother. Can we talk? I'd been expecting this, The therapy Dad mentioned had apparently helped her confront what she'd done. The church community's reaction to her behavior at the party had been swift and decisive. She'd lost her position on several boards, her social standing irreparably damaged. I replied, "I'm open to conversation, but I'm not interested in apologies that don't come with changed behavior." The truth was, I'd already forgiven her, not for her sake, but for mine. Holding on to anger had nearly destroyed me once. I wouldn't let it happen again. But forgiveness didn't mean forgetting. It didn't mean pretending the past didn't matter. It meant choosing to define myself by my triumphs rather than her failures. That evening, I spoke at a conference for single mothers. My closing words had become my personal motto. You are not defined by who leaves you behind. You are defined by how you rise. The woman who rose, that's who I chose to be.